July 3rd, America's forgotten firecracker. Happy almost Independence Day, America. That magical time when we grill mystery meat, dress like bedazzled flags, and pretend we understand the lyrics to the second verse of the national anthem. But before we go full red, white, and boozy, let's talk about the day that history books gave the old stiff arm. July 3rd. That's right, July 3rd isn't just the underwhelming prequel to July 4th. It's packed with enough military blunders, political upheavals, groundbreaking science, and punk rock to make July 4th look like amateur hour. So grab your powdered wig and strap in. This is Klepper's Corner. Today in history. Segment 2. The Civil War's fireworks came early. Pickett's charge ends the Battle of Gettysburg. Let's start in 1863, where July 3rd closed the curtain on the Battle of Gettysburg with what military historians refer to as a really bad idea. General Robert E. Lee ordered 12,000 Confederate troops to charge uphill across open fields into Union cannons in a maneuver known as Pickett's Charge. And much like the name suggests, it was less a strategy and more of a tragic suggestion. Union General George Meade, sitting atop Cemetery Ridge, watched as wave after wave of soldiers walked into what was essentially the Civil War equivalent of a medieval meat grinder. Only one Confederate brigade made it to the top before getting promptly reminded that Gettysburg was not, in fact, theirs to take. Lee, ignoring General Longstreet's advice to not go full kamikaze, basically said, "We're doing it live," and paid dearly. Nearly 60% of Pickett's men were casualties. The only thing higher than the body count was the Confederate misjudgment. This single decision didn't just lose a battle. It lost momentum, morale, and potentially the war. It's the historical equivalent of hitting reply all on a resignation email and still showing up to the company picnic. Segment 3. George Washington from wooden teeth to commander's seat. Back up 88 years to July 3rd, 1775. George Washington officially took command of the Continental Army. Up until then, the American resistance resembled a chaotic Renaissance fair with muskets, individual militias doing their own thing, sometimes coordinated, sometimes just drunk in the woods. Washington's arrival turned the militia mess into an army. He brought discipline, order, and the majestic ability to look extremely stoic in oil paintings. This moment marked the transition from colonial tantrum to full-fledged rebellion. He didn't just take command, he took responsibility for forming the most influential rebellion in modern history. Think of him as the first guy to say, "Okay, guys, let's make a group chat." Segment 4, Algeria to France. It's not me, it's you. Jump forward to 1962. Algeria finally said au revoir, colonial overlords, after 132 years of French rule and 7 years of bloody conflict. On July 3rd, Algeria's independence was formalized. France lost a colony, and Algeria gained centuries of reconstruction and unresolved trauma. Yay? The separation was messy. France essentially ghosted 8 million Algerians and left hundreds of thousands of European settlers, known as pieds noirs, in the awkward position of being French, but not quite welcome in France. Picture a very colonial version of being unfollowed on Instagram, but with tanks. This wasn't just a decolonization, it was a geopolitical gut punch that still echoes today in France's struggles with race, immigration, and national identity. Algeria became independent, but the therapy bills are still in the mail. Segment 5, Declaration of Independence, almost. Now, here's where it gets confusing. Some sources claim the Declaration of Independence was adopted on July 3rd, but really, it was approved on July 2nd and formally adopted on July 4th. So what was July 3rd? Basically, Congress's "Are we sure?" day. This is like saying you moved into a house on Monday, but really, Monday you just argued about who gets the bigger bedroom. The official housewarming came later. Still, the discussions and heated debates on July 3rd were vital, because freedom isn't born in a flash. It's forged in long meetings, sweaty wigs, and a lot of ink-stained compromises. Think of July 3rd as America's constitutional pregame. Segment 6, Mohamed Morsi, Egypt's post-revolution plot twist. In 2013, Egypt offered the world a classic tale. Revolution, election, disappointment, military coup. Mohamed Morsi, the first democratically elected president post-Arab Spring, was removed by the military on July 3rd. The message was clear: we support democracy until it gets messy. Morsi's ouster was a loud reminder that powerful institutions like the military don't just go quietly. They lurk like a roommate who doesn't pay rent but still controls the thermostat. Segment 7, Quebec City, the original We the People. Let's travel back to 1608, when Samuel de Champlain founded Quebec City. This wasn't just some new neighborhood. This was France going all in on North America. With strategic trade routes, alliances with indigenous peoples, and a passion for beaver pelts that bordered on creepy, Quebec City became the launching point for New France. Champlain managed alliances, promoted trade, and occasionally dodged arrows. He was part diplomat, part explorer, and part colonial PR machine. Segment 8, Back to the Future and the Past. And in 1985, the world got a time-traveling teenager with more impact than most politicians. Back to the Future premiered, teaching us that flux capacitors are real, but fashion from the 1980s should not be. The film became a cultural landmark, proving that the best way to explore American history is apparently in a nuclear-powered sports car. Segment 9, Higgs boson and the secrets of the universe. July 3rd, 2012, CERN announces it found evidence of the elusive Higgs boson. Finally, the universe confessed how it gives particles mass. It was like science got the cheat code for reality. Now we just have to figure out why socks disappear in the dryer. Segment 10, Outro, July 3rd, underrated and overachieving. So, next time you're lighting sparklers and yelling Happy 4th, remember, July 3rd walked so July 4th could strut. It's a day that saw empires fall, nations rise, DNA untangle, and Doc Brown hit 88 miles per hour. It's the understudy who nailed the matinee, the unsung hero of summer history. And here at Klepper's Corner, we salute you, July 3rd, because if history is a firework, you were the fuse. That's all for this explosive edition of Today in History. Stay skeptical, stay curious, and always check your calendar. Because sometimes the day before the holiday is where the real party happened.